Hello everyone, Seraphin here. We're going to do another unboxing video today. This time, instead of something I don't know how to read, it'll be something that's printed in English for once. This is the Sentinels of the Multiverse card game. For those of you who are not familiar with it, it is fantastic. It is a cooperative card game based on fictional, I guess all comic book characters are fictional really. But these are completely made up comic book characters. They're a little bit based on some ones you might be familiar with, like DC and Marvel, but they're amazing. And it's a cooperative card game, and I love it. So this is the last expansion, along with a lot of other content that came out alongside it, that I actually kickstarted about, 2.5 years ago now, and I'm just now getting. So we're going to go through all of this fun-looking stuff today, one thing at a time. And today I have my lovely assistant, Violet Wings, to help me unbox and take a look at everything. So say hi, Violet.
Hi, guys.
Okay, she's a little nervous. It's okay. So we're going to start today with one of the little mini expansions. This is going to be Benchmark, the first one. He's not unlike a lot of the heroes we're going to see throughout this whole situation, he is not a variant of an existing character. He's brand new, made up just for this expansion. And I'm going to crack this open real quick. So, Violet, you and I play Sentinels all the time with a group of our friends.
Yes, we do.
And I am a massive fan of this game because not only is it cooperative, which is great because then you're not killing each other and all your friends and whatnot, but there's a lot of really challenging things that go on in this game. This is one of the little dividers. So when you have all your cards arranged in a row in a box somewhere, you can get easy access to them. I'm going to have to put these over to the side, I think. Thankfully, these packages are not difficult to open, so...
Each of these characters each have their own decks, which are fun because we all play with our own decks.
Yeah, that's the other nice thing about this, is that they're pre-built decks. You don't have to worry about building your own, like Magic or anything like that, so you're not shelling out tons of money for expensive cards to make your decks good. They all come pre-assembled. I have my trusty Batman knife today. By mine, I mean this is Violet's, actually, but... I am making use of it as soon as I can get the little... There we go.
To be honest, you use it more than I do, so...
That's fair. Alright, so... every one of these decks is 40 cards. And also comes with the hero on top. So what you do is you play the heroes like by themselves, basically, and you have your deck aside from that. So you always have your hero in play. Just in case you're not familiar with it, you got the character HP on the top left there. They range from like, 22, I think is the lowest I've ever seen.
That's the lowest.
And I've seen it go as high as 35. This one's got 31. Pretty respectable number. And then they have a built-in character power on the bottom of their card. This never goes away. And then apart from that, you have the 40-card deck, which is the same every time. You have, for example, like every benchmark is going to have the exact same deck. Every version of every other character has the same deck, but they're very different from each other. I like how this has the original card backing, like the very first expansion. A lot of the other expansions come with different card backings to distinguish them. But this is the latest release, and it has just the original one, so...
I kind of like the original set best.
I do, too. It's just...
It's
simple.
got good characters and very... strong.
So I'm not going to go through and read every single card in here because we'd be here all night, but at the same time, I believe that Benchmark is I know a little bit about this character from reading some of the developer commentaries. He has a lot of ongoings. So a lot of cards that stay in play, you'll see he's got software cards in here, and he's also got hardware cards. So the way that this works is you deploy hardware first, and that's like, a baseline upgrade for him, and then you deploy the software on top of that to kind of give him modular abilities that you can mix between. He's got a lot of one-shots too, but...
You really want to build up.
He's a character he's very similar to someone like Absolute Zero or Bunker, and that they need a lot of setup to get really going, I think. Okay. Having not actually played them, though, I'll have to find out, but... I believe that's how this character is supposed to operate. Like, I'm looking here, I'm only seeing one-shots and hardware and software. That's all I'm seeing. So I'm sure he's got all sorts of fun little neat effects. But again, we're not going to go through every single last little thing at once here. This is a single copy of this card, Subcutaneous Cybernetics. That's cool. So he's like
There's not a lot of single cards.
He's like a cyborg character, I guess, is what the best thing you can describe him as. There's a few single cards, like Fanatic's Wrathful Retribution is a single copy of the card. Okay. That's the best example I can think of. So anyway, here's Benchmark. He's not the one I was most excited for, but here's the back of his, the packaging here. He is a Complexity 3 hero. and I believe it's as high as it goes. So he's actually on par in complexity with someone like Absolute Zero.
Okay, so it sounds about the same then.
Right. And then his hero icon, his nemesis, is OblivAeon himself. I believe all of these new heroes are going to have the exact same nemesis icon. They are meant specifically to fight the final boss, which is OblivAeon here. And we'll get into that later on. So next up we have Stuntman. This is one I'm really looking forward to. This is a hero variant of the villain Ambuscade. Ambuscade, I believe, was a standalone villain expansion. Like, he didn't come in any pre-built one. He was just a standalone guy. But he's French Deathstroke, if you're familiar with DC Comics. Oh, bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's French Deathstroke, and he's an amazing... I guess in this one, he's like an action movie star, like a la Rambo or something like that. But he's an amazing shot. He's an expert marksman, and he's French, which automatically makes him more awesome than everybody else. So that's his divider card here, and then we'll get in. Listen, I have an affinity for French people because they're cool.
It doesn't have to do with the fact that you're French.
Not remotely.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually American, but that's beside the point.
Part French.
I have French ancestry. Let's go with that.
Okay, that's fine.
And suddenly I lost all my subscribers. They're like, oh, he's a Frenchman? Yeah, we can't deal with this anymore. A lot of people who know me know I like, I tend to hype it up a little bit, but... Oh, jeez. No, I got it. Okay. Plastic's a little harder to get off than I expected. Anyway, so here we have Stuntman, his base hero variant, and his ability is, it's French, I'm not going to try to pronounce it, but I believe that translates to Incredible Shot or Incredible Marksman, which makes sense because that's exactly what he is. He deals one target 1 irreducible projectile damage, and then increases that damage by 2 when this power is used outside of your turn. So if you have some teammates that can all use powers outside of your turn, this does 3 irreducible instead of 1. That's pretty awesome. 27 HP is not too shabby. I'm guessing he's going to be a little bit like Expatriate. In fact, that he's got a lot of gun-based abilities. In fact, we're already seeing that. He's got this... Oh my god, are all of his cards in French? Yes, all of the names of his cards are in French. Except for that one. Oh, I guess not all of them, but these handful of them are. That's amazing. I love it.
Is it the one-shots then?
Well, looks like a handful of them at any rate. So he looks like he's all about dealing damage. I'm guessing he's going to be quite a bit similar to Expatriate. I don't know that means he's going to have gun equipment like she does, but hidden mine. Oh yeah, he's got like traps and stuff. That's based a lot on his villain.
His villain part.
Go immediately to the start of Stuntman's next turn, skipping all turns in between. Interesting. I wonder what the point of that is. There's got to be.
Sure, there's some sort of equipment or.
It's a single copy, so there's got to be some use for it, but who knows? Lance. Oh, that's a flamethrower. Yeah, here we got more French cards. Oh, that's hilarious. He's like camouflaged against a tree or something. So yeah, this is pretty interesting, and here's him doing jump flips and whatnot and being awesome.
Very flexible.
Oh, that doesn't look nice.
Ooh.
That's a lot of arrows. It's like Boromir level arrows. Of course, that's the operative hitting him with, and then she's not very nice. So I'm not seeing a lot of equipment, actually. I'm seeing a lot of one-shot. Well, here's some equipment right here, I guess. This is a pistol whipping, some kind of nonsense like that. I'm excited to play this guy. I'm probably going to try him out first, if I'm being totally honest. Is that Two-Face?
It looks like.
It looks like Two-Face. That's hilarious.
Half green, half purple.
Training montage. I love it. This game is so great. I'm definitely going to try him out first, I think. That's going to be fun. So again, he's got the OblivAeon hero icon, so he's OblivAeon's nemesis. He's a complexity 2, so he's not quite as bad to learn how to play or use as Absolute Zero. He's probably in the range of like Bunker or somebody. I'm going to take a guess and assume. He's not super easy to play like Wraith or Ra or somebody, but yeah, I like these. I'm going to keep these little back things, I think. I didn't keep them on the last characters that I picked up. That's okay. So rather than going to new heroes right away, we're going to pick up this thing right here. I'll do that in a minute. So this is the complete hero variant collection. So every version, or every variant rather, of existing heroes that is in the game is in this box. So, for example, they used to release alternate versions of existing character decks very early on, but they were like Kickstarter exclusives, or you had to special order them, or they were promotional. This box, however, has every single variant in it of all the base characters, but with different artwork. So it's not the original printed ones. I do have all of the original print ones, and they're incredibly expensive. I'm a completionist by nature, so that's my problem. Some of them can go for upwards of a couple $100s. So if you're looking to be a completionist like I am, make sure you've got some money lying around. I don't anymore, but
I really like the divider.
I did see that. It's interesting. They have a
cool
unique
art.
they have a unique divider for all the variant cards. And I'm gonna guess that's Night Mist on the front.
It looks like it, but
I actually don't recognize a few of these people. I don't recognize a lot of them. Come to think of it, huh? Maybe we'll see more of that once we get dug in here. So if you were looking to ever have, if you're a fan of this game and you wanted to have all those cool variant cards but never wanted to shell out for the first prints of them because they're so expensive, you can just pick this up and have all of them in one package. The artwork's not the same, so if that bugs you, then I guess you have to deal with it, but it's a much more accessible way to get all of these variant cards. So here we have Femme Legacy, or America's Newest Legacy, as I like to call her. These will all still use the same character deck as the main variant hero, but they have a different HP value and a different power. So this one's a little bit weaker than regular Legacy, but she deals a lot of damage. This is the more less team-friendly focused and more straight kicking butt focused Legacy. This one's my favorite, actually. He's the team player for sure. Lets other people use powers outside of their turn, and he gives them HP. I think I've only run him once, but here we go. So I have all of these already as foil versions. But we got these right after the Kickstarter ended, actually, but now we're just getting the non-foil variants. So now I can actually use these and not have to worry about taking them out of a binder. Because I kind of tend to preserve the foil versions because they're so pretty.
they are very pretty.
This is Freedom 5 Legacy. I haven't used him yet. So then we have, I think Bunker. A couple of them have, but a lot of them are like, oh, it's foil, I don't want to touch it. Well, I mean, it's there for a reason. I think Bunker actually has the most variants out of any hero. I think he's got 5. So, yeah, and here's 4 of them right here, plus his base version. So there's 5 different versions of Bunker. And they're actually 3 different people. This one is actually Bunker's nemesis. This is Freight Train as a hero, basically, but he's taken on the moniker of Bunker. And this is like World War II Bunker, when he fought alongside Legacy's dad. And then these both are the original Bunker guy, but they're in different suits. So you got Termination and Freedom 5 Bunker. Freedom 5 is like the Justice League, basically. I mean, that's really what they are. It's Legacy, it's Bunker, it's Tachyon, it's Wraith, and it's Absolute Zero. And I think they put Unity in at the end to make it the Freedom 6. But, so it's Superman, Batman, The Flash, Iron Man for some reason, and then Mr. Freeze. I don't know what you'd call... I don't know what Unity's equivalent is. She's a technomancer, so who knows. Here's Tachyon right here. I like her a lot. Super scientific Tachyon on her treadmill. Team Leader Tachyon's my favorite because she makes everybody draw a card, and that's an amazing power.
Yeah, that's really helpful.
And then we have...
Especially for characters that take a while to
that need a lot of cards to
Yeah.
get going, like Bunker or Fanatic or something like that. Absolutely. And then we've got Freedom 5 Tachyon with an interesting outfit. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that one, really, but...
It's completely different.
It is completely
from
different.
her
That's fair.
Previous.
And here we have Wraith, who is, I believe, this is your favorite character, isn't it, Violet?
This is my favorite card.
So she's Femme Batman. Femme Batman is amazing.
She's just a lot of fun to play, and she deals a lot of damage. But
She does everything. There's nothing she doesn't have.
Yeah, she's very useful.
So this is Rook City Wraith, I believe. This is her as a detective, as opposed to like a straight up beat stick.
Or a sleuth.
Well, yeah, but the original version of this was Rook City Wraith.
Yeah.
And then we've got Rook City is like the equivalent of Gotham City, by the way. And then we've got Price of this is Freedom. They call it Freedom 6 Wraith, but it's like, I guess the Price of Freedom 2 because that's the subtitle on it. This is a more damage heavy Wraith. She does damage to 2 people. And then you've got Freedom 5 Wraith, which you probably haven't seen before.
That's completely different artwork.
Yeah, she has her entire face covered up this time, and she has looks like just power gauntlets on.
Yeah.
That looks like a lot of fun.
That does look fun.
Looks like she's all about deck manipulation. She draws cards and let other people draw cards. That's cool.
Might have to play some new character cards for her.
Well, we have plenty of variants now and plenty of new heroes, so I think there's going to be a lot of Sentinels in our future coming up here pretty soon.
More than likely.
And here we have Absolute Zero, who is one of my favorites. He's like a combination of Iron Man and Mr. Freeze, I guess. This is Elemental Wrath, which is really cool. He's like being taken over by ice, which is sweet.
That looks amazing.
This one's not quite so useful, though, because it doesn't let him hurt himself, which I know sounds weird, but a lot of the way Absolute Zero plays is doing damage to himself to either heal or redirect said damage. This one just deals 2 cold to somebody else.
Yeah.
So it's a little more direct. You can get this going a little earlier, I think, but late game, I think he's not quite as good as his other versions. And we've got Termination AZ here.
That looks cool.
Increase all damage dealt to and by him by 2. That's pretty interesting. And then this one I think is really neat, actually. He hurts himself for 2 fire, but then you get to search your deck for an ongoing and put it into play.
Oh.
Anything you want. And if you've got that transducer out, he takes the fire damage, then hits somebody else for it, and still gets to search his deck.
Wow.
That's really useful. I might need to try this one out.
That
I don't know why the triangle is upside down. I can't imagine that's very useful for being able to see
personally,
all that
I think
effectively.
that sounds like one of the most useful ones of his.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I'm thinking I'm going to need to use him from now on.
His variants.
Here we have Unity. She's a technomancer, and this is her, like, basically, it looks like she turned herself mostly into a robot almost, or like basically a cyborg. I don't know if that's canon or not, but I think it might be like an alternate version of her. She's really hard to play, but she's very gratifying. She doesn't do a lot of things by herself, but she puts little robots into play, and they hurt a lot. And then we've got Termination Unity. Termination is all about taking out Choke Point, I found out, who is a very underwhelming villain. To the point they had to make an entire sub-team for one villain, and she's not even that bad. The ironic thing is, Unity, Bunker, and AZ are all part of Termination, and they all have very equipment-heavy decks, and she's anti-equipment.
Okay.
So it's like, wait a minute. I don't understand the point of that. Here we have one of my favorites. Also, this is Omnitron. He is a reformed villain, or like a rebuilt version of a villain, but this is him rebuilt again, rebuilt by Unity, hence the Omnitron U. And he's also purple color scheme, because that's what Unity likes to do, is purple and pink and whatnot.
She does. That's.
She rebuilt him, is what this is, and this is actually
all of her robots carry her colors throughout.
Right, and this
sense.
is the only variant of Omnitron that exists. I haven't tried it yet. That's interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I guess we'll see. Doesn't have a lot of HP, I'm noticing, either, though. 24 is not a very high number.
No, it's kind of low. That's about race level.
Here's Dark Visionary. I believe you tried this one out last time we played. We're not that big of a fan.
It was interesting to get into, but it was just... I like some of her other character cards better, I think.
Well, try this one on for size. This is Visionary Unleashed. This is a very heavily damage-focused one.
That sounds like more my speed.
So you deal one target X psychic damage, where X is the number of your ongoing cards in play plus 1. So if you get a whole board full of manipulation cards, and she starts dealing straight damage with that. This is like the her not giving a crap anymore and just starting killing everything. Here we have Pars. Pars is very interesting to play. I'm not sure how useful she is.
I don't know how to feel about her yet.
I don't either. But
we haven't played her enough to really
not
see.
Really.
But
this is Fugue State Pars. Let's play the bottom card of your deck. If you discarded a card this turn, one other player may play the bottom card of their deck. Huh. Interesting.
I guess if you know what's under there and like a villain makes you put something,
or if you use her effect, like with Visionary, for example, that makes you put one on top and one on bottom, then you can play the bottom.
Yeah.
Here's Mr. Fixer. He's a monk and is overpowered. He's also blind, which is cool. So he's like Daredevil. Yeah. He's literally Daredevil minus the bow staff or the sai or whatever the heck he uses now. He's just a martial arts master and also an auto mechanic for some reason.
Hey, don't.
I'm not knocking on it. It's just it's an odd combination. Blind martial arts master / auto mechanic. It doesn't sound like a great combination.
No, it really doesn't, because you need your eyes a lot for that.
Here we have one of my best friend's favorites. This is Expatriate. She is Femme Punisher, basically. She's got an eye patch, which is awesome.
Shout out to our ginger bitch.
Shout out to our ginger friend, yes. And then we've got she's all about guns, which is great. This version of her not so great though, because it works. It's a power that works until the end of her next turn. So you don't get it right away. You get it next turn basically. And then if you want to use it again, you got to re-up it. But it makes all of her damage go up, which is interesting. We've got Setback. He is, what's the best way to describe Setback? He's an accidental hero. He was accidentally made super duper strong, but he's also very unlucky. So not really sure how to describe him. I guess he's all right. I've only played him once.
I've seen him played yet.
He's interesting.
Yeah.
A couple of our friends have played him. Here with Night Mist.
Yeah,
Night Mist is awesome. She's like an occult mage, and she's incredible. She's really hard to play, though. She's definitely one of the higher complexity heroes, but she's very gratifying if you get her built up correctly. And then we've got the Scholar. He's an alchemist. He has a Philosopher's Stone, and he's otherwise just an old man. He actually does not have a nemesis. Like that's none of the mainstream villains have that symbol. There's some mini villains in some of the decks that will have that, but no major villain has that symbol.
Okay.
So he doesn't really have a nemesis per se. He's a tank. That's all he does, really. And then we've got Knife. She's a Scottish assassin because reasons. I think she's actually the equivalent of like Sword for Marvel, so she's like anti-alien basically. Hence the alien with a tear through its face for her symbol. So she like protects the Earth from supernatural, or not supernatural, but extraterrestrial threats, I should say. Argent Adept, another one of my favorites. He is a magic bard. I guess all bards are magic if you play D&D, but
he's pulling
he uses
Doctor Strange look right now.
That's, you're not wrong about that. He uses magical instruments to do everything. He does damage, he has a lot of support powers, he heals, a little bit of everything. This variant actually hadn't existed until they printed this. This is a fun little story. So the same HP and power spread already existed, but it was on Argent Adept Kavath's 6-string, and that was specifically made for, I think it's the World Builders organization, which Patrick Rothfuss started, and it's based off of the main character of his books, the Kingkiller Chronicle, and that was like a cameo for him.
Wow.
So this version doesn't have that. It's just a generic Argent Adept with this really cool, neat-looking artwork. But same HP, same power spread as that Kavath 6-string one, but not with the cameo shout-out deal. Fun fact, if you donate to the World Builders, you get that card for free. So that's how I ended up getting it. And here we have the Extreme Prime Warden's Argent Adept. This is like the whole like hyper 70s look. And all the Prime Warden's characters have this same style.
Off, though.
Oh, I know, I love it. Absolutely cool, and I love this art style. It's really, really unique, and it's amazing.
You don't see a lot of cards that have that kind of art style.
No, and actually, it's only the Extreme Prime Wardens that look like this, and we'll get to a couple more of those in a second. Here we've got Captain Cosmic. This is Green Lantern, but yellow, which is funny because his nemesis is his evil brother, who is green. So it's like they color swapped Sinestro and Green Lantern, but Green Lantern actually is my favorite comic hero, but sadly, Captain Cosmic, I like using him, but he's kind of niche, unfortunately. He's not all that reliable, unfortunately. He's purely a support hero. He doesn't do a lot by himself. He makes everybody better, but he's very reliant on constructs, and if those constructs get killed because they have HP, then he's kind of useless. So I have kind of a love-hate relationship with Captain Cosmic. I think there's other versions that make him better, like maybe this one. This is him, like, kind of merged with his brother, because he ends up, spoiler alert, his brother ends up canonically being killed, I believe. So you see this broken half of his mask here, and now he's part yellow, part green. It's like, this might be more damage-centric. So you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, put them into play in any order. If there are 4 or more constructs in play, each construct deals him 2 psychic damage. So it lets you get a lot of cards into play, but if there's too many, then it backfires and he hurts himself.
Okay.
So
that's a good balance.
It's an interesting way to do it. He's got a lot of HP, though, too, so you can take a couple of hits.
Yeah.
And then here we have Extreme Prime Warden's Captain Cosmic. This is definitely more damage-centric.
You can see his curly hair.
He deals 1 damage himself, and then each construct deals the same target 1 damage. So if you get a lot of constructs out, he deals a lot of damage this way. This might be fun to use.
Yeah.
Moving on to Haka. He's the Hulk, but he's a Maori tribesman instead. Except this one's more like, less of him being a beat stick and more of him being like, he's like retired as a scholar now, living in the Eternal Wasteland.
He still has a lot of HP though.
Oh yeah, he's still got a ton of HP.
It's still a Haka trait.
I'm not a huge fan of Haka, only because I don't like the Hulk either.
We have some friends that really enjoy him though.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I understand why a lot of people like the Hulk. I'm just not a big fan. And then we have Prime Warden's Haka. He looks a little bit ready to beat somebody up here.
Looks like he's about to pick a fight.
A lot of these powers focus on a lot of the deck, or a lot of his cards in his deck called the Haka cards, which are like, you draw and then discard to gain a certain benefit. And these are all, this one lets you redirect the benefit of the Haka cards for this one. And then we have Extreme Prime Warden's Haka, who is just a bullet sponge by the looks of it. That is pretty interesting. I love the artwork on these ones. They're so cool. Here we have,
artwork's part of my favorite.
Here we have Tempest, who is basically an alien storm. I think that's the best way to describe him.
Yeah.
A lot of lightning, a lot of wind and water kind of deal.
He's very elemental.
And you see here, he looks like he's lost his arm, but kind of reconstituted it with lightning. That's an interesting facet. Destroy 1 of your cards and then draw 3. That's interesting. He's got a lot of ongoing, so that kind of makes sense. This one's really cool looking. This one looks like, this is like Aquaman border level stuff here. I like Aquaman. I know I'm going to catch flack for that, but I like Aquaman. I think he's a cool hero.
a lot of things don't do Aquaman justice.
No, Jason Momoa does. And here we have Extreme Prime Warden's Tempest. Looks like he's got his tentacles slicked back on his head there.
That's an interesting look.
He looks like a punk rocker in this. Is what I mean, all of them do. That's kind of the style, I guess. But Thunderstruck, of course, he's got an AC/DC song for the name of his power. That makes perfect sense. And here we go. My favorite character. This is Fanatic. Basically, Crusading Angel of Awesome. This is probably her best variant, I think, too, where she has this really cool-looking plate armor. Her sword isn't in here, though. But this lets her draw cards and get HP, which is great. A lot of HP on her, too. 31's a solid number.
It's actually on the higher end.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then we've got...
27 is generally pretty...
27's like a good average, I think. But anything more than that's a lot.
Yeah.
We've got Prime Warden's Fanatic with her broken sword and half of a face mask. Not sure why she bothers at that point. This variant, not so great, in my opinion, I don't think. It lets you play the top card of your deck and let someone else use a power by doing herself 3 radiant damage. I mean, I can see where that'd be useful, but
you wouldn't need to
not my favorite. Often. No, and then here we go with my favorite. This is Extreme Prime Warden's Fanatic, where she's just all out, ready to look like she would kill somebody.
She looks a lot like Dark Phoenix in that art.
A little bit, with the sash on her waist and whatnot. I love the feathers on her wings. Like, they put a lot of effort into that. A lot of the
Dark Phoenix work, you can see like the outline of feathers.
That's fair.
So, I mean, it looks really similar.
I hadn't thought of that, actually. I don't follow Dark Phoenix all that much. So.
Well, you're not necessarily the biggest Marvel
I'm not Spoiler alert, I'm not a Marvel person. I'm more DC, and you judge me, I guess, at your own peril. But
personally, I'm more Marvel, but I like them both.
That's right. So. Not everybody's perfect.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. All right, moving on to Ra. Pretty straightforward. Ra is the god of the sun. He does all the fire damage in the world. This one's not quite so damage heavy. This one's draw 3 and discard 2, so he gets more options.
Pretty useful, though.
Horus of Two Horizons is a cool title. And then finally we have Setting Sun Ra, who is very unique. Blaze of Glory is his power here. He deals himself 2 fire damage, destroy one of his ongoing cards, and then remove 2 cards from the deck and trash from the game. Oh, each target he deals, each non-hero target, and himself 2 irreducible fire damage.
So everybody but his compatriots.
Right, and then he just nukes 2 of his own cards. That's ridiculous. And then he has a really... So the way that all these heroes work...
like end of game type thing.
Oh, absolutely. And the reason for that, well, Setting Sun, right?
Like the final blow type,
He's very unique in that every hero has an incapacitated side. So even if your hero gets taken down, like they lose all their HP and get quote-unquote knocked out, they're still useful. They have these powers they can use once per turn on their turn. Setting Sun Ra is very unique because he has... Is this him right here? Yeah, it is. One of his powers is deal one target 10 irreducible fire damage, but then remove him from the game.
Okay.
So it's literally like his Blaze of Glory, his last huzzah before you take. If that's that could be your Hail Mary of winning the game.
I like how Fanatics in his.
They're a thing.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, I think that's canon now. As Fanatic and Ra are a thing. I'm not sure why.
That's a weird combo, but
not really if you think about it. They're both kind of like divine beings incarnate almost. Moving on, we've got Chrono Ranger. Not a huge fan of him. He's like a time-displaced cowboy with a bionic arm, because of reasons. This version of him also not very good. I like the original better. Of course, this one doesn't even have his hat, so therefore it's automatically just worse. If you're going to be a cowboy, you need a cowboy hat, let's be honest. And then we're moving on to Skyscraper. I love Skyscraper. It's Femme Ant-Man, or Femme Giant Man, take your pick, because she's both.
Personally, I'm just not a fan of her. There's a lot to keep track of.
But that's what makes her fun.
It's a lot that you could easily forget, though.
Oh, I get it.
If you get distracted or there's a lot going on, it's so easy to lose some of the stuff behind the scenes with her.
I like the high complexity heroes. I just do. I like having a lot more options and a lot more cool power interactions. So she has 3 different versions. They're all playable at the same time. So you have her standard size, you have her giant size, and you have her tiny size. And you'll switch between all 3 of them through the course of using her deck. So you've got regular Skyscraper, giant, and itty-bitty Skyscraper, but she's awesome. And she's also an alien, so there's that. Everyone knows aliens are cool. Moving on to the Naturalist. He is Beast Boy.
Yeah.
Because he literally turns into 3 different animals. He turns into a crocodile, a gazelle, or a rhino. He's very limited Beast Boy. He's like discount Beast Boy. This is him. This is the hunted naturalist. Like, he's literally being hunted. He's, on the run.
Yeah, never mind. I don't know where I was going with that.
No?
Nope.
Moving on to your favorites, I think.
Yep, these are another one of my favorites.
They're actually 4 different heroes that come out of the same deck. So if you play this deck, you get all 4 at once.
You get 4 characters.
But you'll notice they have very small HP values. Like Dr. Medico here has 14 health, Mainstay is 15, the Idealist has 12, and Writhe has 13.
I think that's a little higher than what they normally have, though.
Yeah, these are the Adamant Sentinels, so they're a little more trained. They're called the Sentinels collectively. That's the name of the team. But you play all 4 at once, and they all have their own powers. You only get to use 1 per turn, but you have a lot of options with all 4 different heroes. Problem is, if any villain does damage to everybody, you hit all 4 of them at once, and they don't last very long. So
no, their low HP is pretty much the biggest drawback.
Definitely. Although I will say, Dr. Medico is the best healer in the game, and
yes,
this one actually heals all of them for 1 and draw.
He's got a lot of like one shots that let him heal everybody. There's some that let him do like a few hit points back for 1 character.
You can actually revive the other Sentinels if Dr. Medico is still alive. So if they get incapacitated, he can bring them back. Not with very much HP, though. I don't think it fully heals them.
I think it gives them like 3 or 4.
Something like that.
It's not very much.
So Medico is the healer, Mainstay is the tank, Idealist is the damage, and Writhe is support and also damage. So they have a full World of Warcraft raiding party here.
They're very fun to play, though. I really enjoy them.
They're great if you can make them work. Otherwise, it's a little complicated.
Haven't had that many problems with them so far.
No, but they have an extremely powerful deck. That's part of the reason why. We're actually going to skip these ones for the time being because these are in the new box. So we're going to go on to... I'm
excited for those.
Here we go. This is I don't know why Guys is at the very end, but at any rate, so we have Santa Guys. Guys is Deadpool, straight up. He's the goofy, breaks the 4th wall, talking. He literally hits people with his text boxes.
Yep, and he's got a lot of flavor text that...
this looks like I just noticed. This looks like a young Legacy in the corner.
It
here.
really does.
That's hilarious. So yeah, this is Santa, guys. I don't know why he decided to be Santa. It's Giftmas time. And then on the back, Thanksgiving takes over Christmas, which is my favorite. And then we have Completionist Guys, who I guess you can get him outside of getting the giant box because he's in this too. But this came with the giant collector box that holds all the cards, and I'll show you that later because I got that too.
Oh, so you got 2 of those?
I do have 2 of these now, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're the same artwork though, it looks like.
Yep.
So this one lets you put a hero variant of any other hero in your team into play, basically. So you can kind of switch on the fly between your different hero variants. Really interesting. And
if they put that, the Completionist in the main set, then what was the big deal about putting the promo card in the box then?
I don't know. Just a little extra treat, I guess, for people.
So it's the same thing. That's the only reason I'm confused.
Who knows? So here we have, these are the 5 heroes that are in the newest expansion, the OblivAeon expansion right there. These are all reformed versions of heroes, or I'm sorry, previously villains. So we have a variant of Luminary. This is Baron Blade.
We have up here. Yeah,
that's her main variant. Or her, so you notice they have different artwork. So these are like the alternate art versions that I got in this variant collection, and that's just the basic variant that came with the game. We'll get into that in a little bit. So Luminary is Baron Blade, but as a hero, and this is actually the variant which is him as a girl. Not sure why. They did the same thing with Legacy, I guess. It makes the sense.
A female version with...
I'm not sure Luminary plays yet, because we haven't gotten into that yet. This is the Harpy. This is a hero variant of the Matriarch, who is incredibly hard.
She's not easy.
No, but I'm actually excited to try this variant because she's got a really interesting deck mechanic in that she has control tokens.
Oh.
And you have to keep track of whether she goes fully bat crazy insane or not.
Okay.
And she still uses birds because Matriarch, she's the Harpy now. We've got Akash Thriya. She is a hero version of Akash Buddha, like the avatar of nature, basically. I don't know why she would be evil. You wouldn't think an avatar of nature would be an evil person.
Akash Buddha she's not originally a female either, is she?
No, she is.
Is she?
Yeah. Look at that HP value, though.
Oh my goodness.
I think that's the highest HP value I've ever seen on a hero.
I've never seen one that high.
40 HP, that's a lot. That's as much as some villains have.
Yeah.
Namely, I think Ambuscade's only got like 50. I think Baron Blade's only got like 40.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Here we have La Commodora, the hero variant of La Capitaine. This is the Curse of the Black Spot version of her. If you're familiar with like Treasure Island or something, have you read that? The black spot literally means death, so like this is like her on her last legs, it looks like. She's trying to make as much use of what she can before she dies or some such. Oh, this is Dark Watch Harpy, I forgot to mention.
It's still the whole idea of time traveling.
Yeah, well,
pirate,
the idea of time traveling pirate is that it's killing her, more or less.
Okay.
So this is Dark Watch Harpy, I forgot to mention. Dark Watch is a splinter team with Expatriate, the Fixer, Night Mist, and Setback. So she joins Dark Watch too.
Okay.
Night Mist is actually training her to become have more control over her magic, is the idea.
Oh.
And then this is Spirit of the Void, Akash 3. So this is not the standard version of her. And then finally we've got Lifeline, who is a good version of Deadline. Creative, I know. This is Blood Mage Lifeline, which sounds creepy. He still looks like a villain.
Yeah, he does.
But I'm not sure.
Still would not want to mess with him.
Deals himself and each villain target 2 infernal damage. Wow, that sounds like it could be useful.
Mm-hmm.
Gloomweaver comes to mind. Grand Warlord Voss comes to mind for people he'd be good against. And then here we go. We got a variant of Stuntman. Action hero Stuntman. This is literally him as Rambo, it looks like. Cigar and giant machine gun all together. And then we have Supply and Demand Benchmark. This looks like a little more like post-apocalyptic version of him, maybe.
It's definitely a darker version.
Oh yeah, it just looks creepy and dark in the background here.
Mm-hmm.
So
his mask, and you can actually see his face in there. Like,
yeah, that's fair. You can definitely still see his face. So here we have. They actually, with this newest box, this one here we're going to get into next. The Void Guard, which are individual decks of all of the 4 Sentinel peoples.
yay.
So here, I know you're really excited. So here we have Dr. Medico. This is Malpractice Dr. Medico.
Nice.
Looks like a little bit more sinister maybe. And we have Road Warrior Mainstay. He's basically Lobo, I think, at this point. Like a smack-talking cyclist.
Looks like a Ghost Rider, is it?
Yeah, I guess he could be Ghost Rider. Something like that. Here we have Super Sentai Idealist. She's literally a Power Ranger, which is the best thing ever.
Oh my goodness.
And you see she has her giant Megazord in the back here because reasons. This is awesome. This is definitely a throwback. You can tell the guys who made this are like big 90s kids.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Super
Sentai. I love it. And then we have Cosmic Inventor Writhe. He looks a little creepy, but Writhe is kind of creepy
Writhe
anyway.
already is creepy in and of
that's
itself. Fair. He's just dark and twisted.
This is fair.
I'm really excited to get into the Void Guard.
Well,
they're
since
one of my favorites.
Since we're talking about the Void Guard, why don't we go into the Void Guard? We're going to set all those variants aside for now.
I will put that with the rest.
As I mentioned, I do have foil versions of all those cards you just saw. They came in this little box here. I actually got this a couple years ago because they sent this out ahead of everything else with the Kickstarter. I don't know why. I did put all the foil versions in a binder. I didn't keep them in this box, but it's a neat little box.
Do you want to show?
Yeah, why not? We can show off the binder. So I just have them all stuck in a little card binder. It's the same stuff you saw already, just
but
foil.
They're shiny.
They're very shiny. And that's precluded. And you'll see it's not just the variants, but it's all the original ones too, with different artworks. Like that's original Night Mist, the original Scholar, Knife, Argent Depth. So I have foil versions of all of the different variants of all the heroes. And the original ones, which is really cool. And I think those are actually exclusive to that box. Those foil versions, or just those versions in general of all the different of heroes. They didn't bother reprinting any of those. So moving on, we're just gonna grab the Void Guard.
Yay!
So as I mentioned, this is individual versions of all the Sentinels. Looks like Dr. Medico is Complexity 3, and so is the Idealist, and then Mainstay and Writhe are Difficulty 2, or Complexity 2.
When I play the...
They all have the same Sentinels icon, though.
Yeah, when I play the original Sentinels, Idealist and Dr. Medico are two of the most frequently used ones.
Those are arguably my two favorites, too, so...
Yeah.
Bust these out. I know you're geeked for this.
I'm so excited.
Here's the divider cards.
Let's take a look.
We got... So the idea behind them all having their own decks now is they've all been infused with these magic crystals somewhere. So Medico has his on his chest there, right by his heart, by the looks of it, and he's got like the what's the name of that cross they use in medicine?
Red cross?
No, it's like it's like a symbol.
I'm
I can't
not
remember.
sure.
I honestly can't remember. I'm not a doctor. So anyway, my sister would know. So here we have Writhe. He's like his is right in his forehead by the looks of it, his little crystal there. He's like overcome with like technology now somehow. He's like an inventor now. He's like Dr. Doom almost. Like he's part magic, part technology. But he's not a bad guy. Then we have the Idealist. She's still hilarious.
She's fun.
She's like 13 years old, which is funny. I don't know where her crystal is.
Little.
I think hers is like
maybe on her chest
yeah,
as well.
actually no, I think it's on her arm or like her hand rather.
Is it?
Yeah. And then we've got Mainstay, who doesn't have his attached to him, but it's on that end of that big chain, that flail chain. So who do you want to start with? Which of the four?
It looks like they have.
They put them in 3 different packages, so they're not in 4 different separate ones. Heaven forbid, right?
I'm trying to figure out. Here, let's start with Idealist.
Let's start with Idealist.
I don't think all of those are her cards, though.
No, they did this with the original boxes, too, when I first bought them. Instead of packaging everybody individually, they just stacked them all together and split it up.
Okay, so we'll have to see.
I mean, everything's together still as far as the different...
Yeah, but it's not all 2 decks together.
No, not... It is and it isn't at the same time. So, let's split this up here. We got Idealist. Here she is. This is all Idealist. So this is the Idealist as a individual hero. Void Guard, the Idealist. Wild Imagination is her power. You can draw a card and put a fragment from your hand under a concept in play. So I bet you she's a little more interesting to use than most. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't think this is her entire deck. I think there's some things missing from here. This deck feels a little thin.
I think you might. I'm working on it.
Let me check the other one and just double
Those
check.
ones are all just mainstays.
Oh, it's all Mainstay? Alright.
And then that one's all Medico. I'm guessing hers is with. Yep, here's some more of her.
Perfect.
See, it looks like hers is on the
Yeah, that is
chest.
definitely her. I think she's my favorite out of the 4 Sentinels, honestly, just because she's got so much versatility.
Ooh.
Is that right?
Sorry, yeah, I'm looking at
I'm
it.
geeking out a little bit, that's fine. So, it
I'm
looks
excited.
like she's all about fragments and concepts. So, like, she literally is just creating fun new ideas with her mind, because that's what she does. Huh. Bright idea. Literally called Bright Idea. I think she'll be interesting to try. I bet you she's very damage heavy. Because
She already kind of is.
Flying
There's a
Stabby
lot-
Knives
Yes!
is the name of this card. Flying
That looks
Stabby
amazing.
Knives. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a damage character. Focusing Tiara, huh? Giant floaty head. Definitely a 13-year-old thought of these
Definitely a
ideas.
teenage girl.
Hedgy hogs. This is hilarious. Karate robot. All right, yeah, I'm gonna have to try this. Making things up.
Oh my goodness.
She's literally watching Power Rangers.
Isn't she more psychic?
She basically is a psychic, yeah, more,
Yeah.
but she manifests her psychic abilities physically.
Yeah.
Monster of Id. Oh, that's creepy looking. It does look really cool
It looks
though.
cool.
Sound beating. She has dubstep as a weapon. Spark of inspiration. Yeah, this is really cool. Strained super ego. So she's got like some psychological aspects going on here, it looks like. I bet you she's like got some really bet you she needs some therapy or something probably.
I'm not 100% sure she's just like she's only 13.
I'm pretty sure her official description said she's like a teenager.
I believe a teenager, but she seems still.
Maybe she's more grown up in
older.
Void Guard, but I think her
Maybe.
original version in the Sentinel, she's like 13 years old.
Okay.
Because she's Dr. Medico's like foster daughter or something.
Oh.
Speaking of Dr. Medico,
Interesting concept.
I'm going to Dr. Medico right now. So he's all about healing, I bet you still. Select a target. The next time that target regains HP, increase the amount regained by 2. Interesting. Doctor's orders. So I bet you this guy's more of a standalone potent heal. Whoa, that looks cool.
Whoa.
Experimental medicine.
That's dark.
A little bit, but it looks wicked cool.
He's got. Hold on, who's all in that?
That's Bunker. That's Captain Cosmic, I
Is that-
think, and that's
who's up
Apostate. And he's a villain.
Yeah. Okay.
That's curious. Flare up. So yeah, I'm thinking we're gonna see a lot of Doctor lingo in this deck. And from the brink, yeah, look at that. Wow, that's terrifying.
Oh my gosh.
It's like he's trying to bring back Expatriate from the dead here
Yeah.
almost. Terrifying. Healing Pulse. That sounds useful. At the end of each turn, up to 3 targets regain 1 HP.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty cool. He's like a discount Tempest with the
That's
healing
an
ring.
ongoing?
Yeah. It's got a power on it too.
Wow.
Immunization. Cool. Is that, look, vaccines. If you're
Don't get into that.
intensive care. Perfect. Apparently, I can stop bullet now. That's new. Let's go. Life Force of Will. Was that Visionary? Yep,
It
that's
looks
Visionary.
like it.
Interesting. Heals himself. Oh, deals himself 2 energy damage. I'm like, wait a minute. He heals himself damage now? Positive prognosis. That's great. Looks like Tacky, I might have broken her knee there almost.
You were right.
I was right? About what? Oh, it's on her arm?
On Idealist, her.
Oh, yeah. Yep, there it is.
On her arm.
Sure enough. Prescription strength. I love it. This is great. Preventative care. Literally just doctor stuff. Regeneration. Cool.
Which, that's on his...
At the end of each turn, he heals himself too. Wow. That's neat. Second opinion. Oh, there's his malpractice form, it looks like.
Yeah.
That doesn't look very nice.
Yikes.
And then we've got triage. Oh, geez.
Ooh.
That looks violent. I suppose there is a fair bit of violence in comic book situations.
I don't think wings are supposed to bend that way.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Who knows? And we've got universal toner.
Oh.
That's spite. That's the
Yikes.
alternate spite. Yeah, that's not good. So anyway, that'll be fun. I'm honestly, I want to try all these guys because I just need to.
We should do like a Sentinels fight where it's all the Sentinels.
Oh really? Just nothing but like have somebody run the Sentinels and then all 4 of the individual ones. That won't be confusing.
It depends on how many people we can get together.
That won't be remotely confusing at all, I'm sure. Here's Mainstay. He deals.
I meant just these ones, but
It's like he's more damage heavy. Oh, just those ones?
yeah, just these one.
It'd be funny to have all 4 of them and the Sentinels.
The Sentinels, that would be fun.
Bad to the bone, really? Alright, this guy's gonna have a lot of old references, I betcha. Drop the hammer. I like it. That guy looks menacingly bad. Like, look at this. He's seriously like he's got a leather jacket, Durasteel studded vest. All right.
He's kind of like a bad boy, like the
he's a biker.
Yeah.
That's why he's on the bike and his other artwork too. Headlock. Kick the tires. Huh. Apparently he's the team leader because leader of the pack here, but. Lonesome Highway. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of old metal references here. Mano y mano. Preemptive payback. School of Hard Knocks. Oh, here we go. That's him and Ambuscade in there, it looks like.
Yeah.
And I think that might be the guy that becomes Benchmark eventually.
It looks a little muscular for that. Is that Bunker? The one version of Bunker?
No, he's way too small to be that. But that's definitely Ambuscade next to him there. Oh, yeah, look at... Looks like it's not time to be nice anymore. Done drinking for now, Frenchie. Definitely Ambuscade.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet Rhonda. That's the name of his bike.
Rhonda's just a classic vehicle name for
I guess.
A lot of people.
Void Belter. Interesting. Whiplash. That looks painful.
Yikes.
All right. So that's that. And let's move on to Rye. This is the last one, right?
Yeah. Here he is.
Not my favorite, but still cool nonetheless.
He's cool.
Only 19 hit points? That's a problem.
He's always kind of...
Yeah, but this is like his original Sentinels level HP stuff here.
Yeah.
19 hit points. That's interesting.
He's squishy.
I bet you he's all about avoiding damage and being like redirecting damage and sneaking up on people. Darkly dreaming. Oh yeah, look at this. All sorts of all these cards are very dark. Erratic form. Oh, he's like Plastic Man.
He's like an animated shadow.
More or less.
That's basically what he is.
Grasping Shadow Cloth. Interesting. Yeah, this looks like he's like a Shadowmancer almost. Is what it looks like here. Very much just like his original version, but now it's a little more directed, I guess. Portable Dark Lab. Cool, I think. Whoa, I don't even know what the word means. Oh well. Somber Tinkerer, swallowed by shadow. The Shadow Cloak. Interesting.
Told you, animated shadow.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Okay, so that's the Void Guard.
You didn't spend very much on that.
No, I mean, I'm just kind of breezing through them, really. We're at 50 minutes now for this video, by the way. So
Well, there's a lot to be done.
there's a lot to be done. So I think we're gonna crack open. We're gonna do OblivAeon right now because we're just gonna. And these are all the cards that came with OblivAeon. So those are all the variants. But this is the expansion itself. This is the last expansion for Sentinels of the Multiverse. There will be no more of these, according to the creators. That being said, they're still doing things in the universe of this game. Like they put out an RPG.
Are they making comic books for them too?
Not officially. They have some, but they've already said they don't want to turn into a full-blown like comic book company because that's not their thing. They make games. But the fact that a lot of their games are based off comic books, they have some that I think they did for like promotional reasons. But of course, my box got a little bit dented in the mail, of course. But thankfully, I won't be needing to use this box.
No.
And you'll see why as soon as we're done showing this off.
Oh, that's a lot of cards.
Oh yeah, there's a fair bit of stuff in here. So, well, it's not that bad actually.
Oh, okay.
So the thing with OblivAeon is he's the only villain in this deck in this box, but he's the only one you need because he's absurd. So here we go. This is a comic book right here. Actually, this is a
really?
Yeah, this is a comic book that's like basically explains the events leading up to where we're at now, like the end of the Sentinels universe. So definitely gonna check that later out. The thing with OblivAeon though is you don't fight him in like your standard setup where you have 5 people and you're all fighting just him. You're gonna go through a lot of people. So here's some tokens that come with the deck here, and this is OblivAeon himself. This takes place over 2 different environments that you have to swap between. Here's the control tokens for Harpy's deck. They're double-sided.
Yep, she's in here. I've seen her.
And then you'll see we have 100 and 1,000 damage counters because OblivAeon has 10,000 hit points.
He's got his own.
He's got his own little booklet for a character card. Yeah, I'll show you that in a minute. These are devastation tokens. I forget what those do. That being said, it's not just a simple make a team and fight the villain. You're going to go through multiple heroes because he's going to take out teams of them at a time, and you'll have to bring in new ones. So here's his little instruction booklet, and this is the starting version of him. You'll see he has 10,000 HP. That is the most by a ridiculous factor. And he has this entirely long, huge mini novel of rules of how he plays out. And then this is him, I believe, on the, toward the end of its side, because he's only got 180 HP here. He's starting to crack, his armor's starting to flare up a bit.
Only 180?
And then this version has 120. This looks like a very slimmed down version, like almost human-sized version of him.
Oh yeah, that looks about that.
So it's looking like you got to go through quite a bit to take him down, but it's going to be quite the fight.
So that is his character?
This is his character card, yes. It's this little booklet.
Wow.
So that's one side of him, and then you flip the page to that side, and then you flip the page to that side, and that's the end of it.
Wow.
So it's a long fight. Like I believe when I was looking at, I actually have the rulebook for this already in a PDF. They sent it out before the release of the game. And it basically says you're basically going to be turning into, or basically boiling it down to, it's going to take a couple hours to take him down. And the way he works is you have, what? Okay.
I'm trying.
So you have OblivAeon himself as the villain, but he also has henchmen in the form of his scions, which are Galactus's heralds.
These are.
Yep. So here is the Scion Reserve. And underneath the Scion Reserve are all of his scions. I believe there's 10 of them. So we have Aeon Master. That looks one of them. And these are like basically standalone villains in their own right. They're very powerful. And you have to go through these guys as well as OblivAeon himself. Bore the Unstable. That sounds like fun. Dark Mind. That's creepy looking. It's like an evil manifestation of psychic energy or something. We have Empyreon. I'm actually familiar with him because he's in one of the little villain team decks as like a little mini villain. This one they just made him a straight up Scion of OblivAeon. Faultless. That's interesting. Not sure what his deal's about. It looks like he's pixelated. I don't think that's a misprint either. I think that's just what he looks like.
Yep. It looks pretty intentional to me.
Nixios the Chosen. Looks like a cultist of some sort.
pretty dark looking.
Right. Here's Progeny. Progeny you might remember as being his own villain in the last expansion, the Vengeance expansion. He's a difficulty 4 villain. He's incredibly hard, and I can't imagine he's any more easy in this version. Here we have Sanction. This looks like some kind of dark samurai chick or something. Who knows? Corrupted Adjudicator. That sounds about right. We're going to Void Soul. That sounds cool. Looks like she's basically the same kind of shadow manifestation as Writhe almost, maybe? Something along those lines. We've got Raynek Kel'Vos. Wait a minute. Is this supposed to be like Grand Warlord Voss?
I'm thinking so.
It looks just like him. He's the same species. He's Thorathian. Huh.
It looks like they do a lot of throwbacks to previous characters or
Yeah, maybe.
in some of these.
That's kind of crazy. I didn't know that. And then we have the Inevitable Destruction card. So this is what happens if every time an environment blows up, and one of these devastation, or one of these, this little track ticks down. If it hits 0, the game's over because he blew the world up. So yeah, you have it's like a time limit too with this whole situation. That's gonna be fun. The first villain turned hero. This is Luminary. This is Baron Blade as a good guy. Strange. He's literally
Actually, in his male
he's
version.
literally Lex Luthor, basically, but he's Russian. So he's got devices, it looks like, in his deck. Oh, look at the back of these.
Yeah, they're all pretty cool. I'm looking at
That's
them.
really slick.
Organizing them.
I like the backs of these. That's really cool. All according to plan. So, yeah, I'm guessing this guy's going to be very equipment heavy. I'll either Omnitron or Wraith. Oh, he's got his devices all of HP, it looks like. So he's almost got constructs.
Yeah.
Backlash Generator. Bared Blade. Interesting. So he's probably going to be pretty damage heavy with some support powers in there, maybe. Oh, here he is with Tachyon and Unity, because he's smart. Consider the price of defeat. Interesting. So yeah, lots of devices, lots of stuff with HP. He's probably very equipment heavy. Doomsday device, huh? That sounds like fun. Orbital Death Laser. Also sounds like fun. Regression Turret.
We have a lot of new...
Repair Nanites. Battle Drones. Perfect. So yeah, lots of tech, lots of equipment, lots of stuff to put on the field. Triple Cross. Not double cross, but triple cross. And then here is his Divider card. I like it.
They spent a lot of time on these.
Well, they
cool.
put a lot... Well, it's the last expansion. I imagine they put a whole ton of work into it just for the sake of making it their last hurrah, so to speak. Who's next? Let's do La Commodora. So this is La Capitaine as a hero. She's a time-traveling pirate. She's a little more, I think, focused. Oh, I've never seen this version of her either. That's pretty cool. Looks like a decent amount of HP. 29 is a good number. Looks like she's about putting cards from the trash back on top of the decks. Brig Teleporter. Interesting. Cannon Portal. I like it. And then we've got... Oh, yeah, I think she has some of her crewmen maybe still. Like from her villain deck in here, maybe. Let's take... I'm not really sure. I don't know exactly what all these guys do. Flintlock and Cutlass. I love it. There's some neat stuff in here. Future Tech Deck Gun. She could be about a number of different things. I guess we're going to find out. Jeez. It's ominous. Rudder in the Time Stream. A lot of like futuristic tech stuff for a pirate, I think.
She's time traveling.
I get it. Way Anchor. Yeah, I'm not really sure what she's about. I guess we'll have to play her and find out. Alrighty, so who is next? Let's do Akash Triya. So this is Akash Buddha as a hero. She's like the avatar of nature, but for some reason she was evil before. Now she's not. She's a giant tree. And, oh, here you go. This one is even more HP. Ready for this, Violet? 50 HP on a hero card. That is a little bit ridiculous.
That's a little ridiculous, alright.
This card's damaged.
Is it?
Look at it. It's
Oh yeah, there's some chips and
it must have gotten misprinted or something. I went to send away for a different replacement of that. That's unfortunate. I wonder if that's... I don't even know how that would have happened. They're all shrink wrapped in a box.
Explains the one character card for.
Interesting. Let's see what this is all about. Put a primordial seed from your hand or trash into the environment trash. Interesting. I bet you she's all about interacting with the environment. Maybe getting some help out of that. Creeping mold. That sounds like fun. So she has primordial seed cards that looks like they're ongoings with HP. Well, they're targets, really, is what they are. So they're kind of like constructs in a way. They don't have very much HP, but I bet you they do something really cool. A lot of them in here. Noxious Pod. One with the land. Yeah, I imagine that's what her deal is. She's actually Argent Adept's nemesis as a villain, which is interesting. Strangling Roots. Thrashing Brambles. Yeah, all this nature-based stuff. 50 HP, though. That's a ton. I bet you she's got some kind of effect that makes use of her HP pool. So here's Lifeline. This is Deadline as a hero. I don't really know what his deal is. I guess he's some kind of like leyline arcane wizard, something to do with that effect. And here we have his hero card. Extract Power. Interesting. 31 HP, not bad. Yep, Alien Arcana. So he's some kind of mage or spellcaster at some point. Cosmic Immolation. I'm not sure where he draws his power from specifically, but Life Force, huh? Maybe he's like some kind of like what I'm trying to think of. He's not a necromancer, but like uses Life Force as a means of powering his magic. Yeah, here we go. Leyline Shift. So he's all about using the world's natural powers for his magic. Repair Leyline. Oh, good. So he's not entirely a jerk. Not anymore, at any rate. That's Gloomweaver. We love him. So yeah, he'll be interesting to play, I think. I'm going to try all these guys at some point. It's just a matter of who I'm going to do first. And I'm sure a lot of the friends that we play this with are going to be chomping at the bit to give these a try. And then here's the one I'm actually most excited to try out because she's going to be awesome. And she has a really cool mechanic. This is the Harpy. So this is the Matriarch as a hero. Still has a bird theme going on, but not quite so heavy. So she has control tokens that are part of her play, and she doesn't just have her deck. And I think you kind of need to manage those control tokens because they're double-sided. And I think when she's on one side of them, she tends to go like some kind of negative thing happens to her. Or, yeah, so a lot of her cards are based on what side her control tokens are on. So I imagine some of her powers become more powerful when they're on one side, some of them become better when they're on the other. So it's all about maintaining which side of each of them you want to be on. So she's another magic-focused character, I believe, and some of these cards are really sticking together. Eldritch Training. Yep, here's her training with Night Mist. That's pretty cool. Night Mist, I guess, canonically is like her teacher in magic, or learning to have her control her magic. Hugin and Moon in her back! From her villain deck. My favorite. Everyone loves ravens, right?
I do, but I'm kind of weird.
Everyone loves birds. Birds are cool. Magical Outburst. That sounds like fun. Tenuous Focus. The Flock Scare. Huh. Uncontrollable Flock. There it is. All the burbs. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying her out. She's going to be cool, I think. If she's anything like Night Mist, she'll be fun to try. So, there's 3 new environments in here. There's already 22 of them, so this makes 25 now, I think.
There's more than that.
There should only be 3 in there, I thought. Was there more than 3? There's 5 in there? Oh, wow. Okay. Well, never mind. There's 27 environments now. Here is Fort Adamant. Fort Adamant is the location of this. This is like the Sentinels' home base, actually. Mm-hmm. So you'll see they do a lot of experimentation in there, from what I understand. So this is probably not. This will be like a. Oh yeah, here we go. You got some high-powered villains in here that are like on lockdown. If you guys have watched the Flash show, you'll understand. General Armstrong. Gee, I wonder who he could possibly be modeled after. locking down superpowered heroes and everything. Nope, not Thunderbolt Ross or anything. What else we got here? Champion Studios. This looks like fun. So this is literally a film studio. And there we have our buddy Stuntman on the front page, because of course he is. So what is this all about? Is this all about, like, bottom of the ninth? Car chase scene, craft services table. I love it. So it's all a bunch of, like, movie tropes and stuff. Deus Ex Machina, yep, there it is. Jump scare, perfect. Love interest. I don't know.
No joke.
I don't know who that is. I know it's Wraith and
Looks
somebody
like
else.
Wraith and-
Who is that? Is that Bunker? It's Bunker.
Is it?
Yeah, and then you've got Wager Master Cupid with his ass
boy.
hanging out. Magical MacGuffin. That's guys as like Conan the Barbarian or something. I love it. Potential pratfalls. They mean pitfalls. Props department. Stunt double. The Zorm. He's an antagonist. Doesn't look at the HP counters on these. They got the little
movie clip.
yeah, that's great. I love it. This is gonna be fun, I think. The environments are kind of hit or miss for me a lot of the time, because sometimes they're really fun and sometimes they're just dumb. These all look like they're interesting. The Nexus of the Void. So this is where Akash 3 draws her power from, I believe. What's all this about? Devouring River. Oh yeah, they're all like elemental stuff, I think. Elemental Awakening, yep. Ember Dunes. That sounds cool. Eternal Timber. Glass Peaks, look at that. That's cool. Jade Estuary, is that a word? Magma's Rage. Yeah, there's all like elemental stuff, like the Plane of the Elements or something. Savannah Nocturna. I like this. This is cool. Definitely need to try these out too, because environments tend to get stale really quick, because there's only 15 cards in an environment deck, and once you've seen a couple of them, you're like, yeah, this is boring. Mordengrad. I want to say this is like Baron Blade's country that he like took over, kind of like what's the name of the country that Dr. Doom founds on his own, that he's the sovereign of? I can't remember it right now.
I'm not sure.
Oh, it starts with V, I think. Who knows? It'll come to me later.
Well, we're not recording.
So yeah, this looks like it's all Baron Blade themed stuff, purple and red, and very evil looking. Yeah, Blade Battalion Commander. Imagine playing this with Baron Blade. I bet you that would make it a little more challenging. Conscripted Engineer. Yeah, I wonder who that could possibly be.
He's kind of like a lower level villain, so playing it with this would be definitely a little more complex.
Well, it's funny you say that, because have you played the Remote Walking Tank? Heck yeah. Have you played the Mad Bomber variant of Baron Blade?
No.
It really steps up the difficulty. He's much, much more challenging
Okay.
with that. Same deck, but holy smokes, is he ever hard.
Here's the
We had to try a few times because we couldn't beat him the first time we
Wow.
tried. Yeah, he's bad. And this is the Marinian Refuge. Marinian is the species of Tempests people.
Okay.
So, and they actually had to abandon their home planet because Warlord Voss enslaved all of his people and blew up their planet.
Yeah,
He's like
that's about
Thanos,
right.
more or less. So this is their refuge. I bet you there's a lot of neat stuff in here that's Tempest theme. In fact, look at that. There's a Tempest villain in here. Like a mini Tempest villain. His name is Leviathan. Genebound Reject. Tempest is awesome. I like him a lot.
He's fun.
Softball-sized hail. Yep, that sounds like Tempest. Squall Guard. Nice. Oh yeah, these guys are cool. These guys are really cool looking. Get a load of these. Those are all These are all Tempest's people. Storm Speaker is like an airbender. But there's only one airbender.
There's 3 there?
Well, listen. Torrential Monsoon. Unexpected Microburst. I don't know what that's about. This is going to be cool. I like all these environments, actually. I want to try them out. Not right now, obviously, but...
Okay, so warning you.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot with this villain.
Oh, yeah. So
setup.
this is all stuff pertaining to the OblivAeon scenario itself. So here we have the OblivAeon deck, like his actual villain deck. This looks like a standard 25-card deck for villains, I think.
There's also these.
I actually don't know that I want to spoil this for anybody just yet, looking to see what's in here, but I think this is all like what OblivAeon does himself.
Those
A lot
are
of
his
mean-looking
stats,
stuff. Absorbing energy, disrupting space-time. Summon Scion. That's probably how more Scions getting put into play. Temporal fractures. Yeah, these all look really mean stuff. So in addition to OblivAeon having his own deck of cards, he has shield cards. So the way the shield cards work is he comes into play with one of them, and you can't actually hurt him until you punch through the shield. So he has, I think these are, I think it changes based on, like, he only has one at a time, I think.
Yeah.
So he has the OblivAeon Shield Phase 1. There's 5 different ones on this side. Are they double-sided? Yes, they are. So once you punch through the shield, you go to the other side of it, OblivAeon Shield Phase 2, which is the second side of all of these different ones.
A lot of these future cards are both double-sided.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of these
to it.
These shields also have Bring Forth Aeon Master, Bring Forth Void Soul. So it looks like these tell you what Scion you're going to fight based on what shield is in play.
Speaking of that, those are next.
And speaking of the Scions.
Yeah.
So in addition to the Scions themselves, we saw those a little bit ago. They actually have their own deck. There's a lot of decks to deal with this particular scenario. So this is the Scion deck. This is another 25 card deck, it looks like, based on the thickness here. And I betcha these do extra things based on if the Scion depicted is in play or something. It's just got a whole bunch of them on the... maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it just looks they just do what they do, and they come out and do bad things. So you've got not 2 really mean-looking decks. There's actually a third really mean-looking deck, and that is the Eon Men deck. So these are the minions of the Scions and OblivAeon himself. So you have 3 mean decks. You have OblivAeon's deck, you have the Scion deck, and you have the Eon Men deck. All sorts of fun. I think these are all minions. Like, they just have like little low power villain targets to shoot at. Yeah, so you have Eon Locust, Eon Thrall.
Honestly, I think
Vassals.
the first couple times we play OblivAeon, we might want to have somebody just running the villain.
Well, you know, if
so
we tend to have a lot of people play in our group anyway, and this game's really only balanced between 2 to 5 people. So if you have more than that, it doesn't scale quite as well. So if we have 6 of us, you know, one of us will run the villain and make sure everything's organized and controlled and addressed and everything. I don't mind doing that myself, just because I think it's fun. And I like actually helping out the other players, be like, oh, you should attack this because this is the problem child that you need to worry about, or that kind of deal. So those are the 3 other mean decks. We got the Shield of 4, really, if you count the shield cards, but I don't think there's a deck of these. I think you just use one at a time.
Yeah, it's not. I think that's the smallest deck
we've
found so far.
And then, not quite last, there's actually missions that you undertake during the OblivAeon scenario, and these will give you rewards that help you fight the villains. So on one side, you have these landscape orientation cards. So if you complete these objectives that are on the cards, you actually take the card and you flip it over, and there's a reward on the other side that stays in play until you decide to use it. So this side is Citizen Dawn's Devastating Aurora, but you get to use it as the hero team.
Nice.
And that's an amazing card if you're familiar with it. Yeah, destroy all villain ongoings, destroy all environments, and deal 3 radiant and 3 energy damage to every villain target. And then put this card under the top of a hero deck.
Which some players can eventually use.
You can draw this out of the deck and play it again. So there's a whole bunch of these. There's got to be at least, 25 of these different rewards or these mission cards in here. So as you complete these missions, you get rewards. Some of them are, are these extra heroes or something?
It looks like a small hero.
14 hit points is not bad. What is that?
The Chronoist?
The Chronoist, is that a thing?
I think so.
So this is like a little sub-hero. There's a lot of these in here, I betcha.
There's a lot.
The Everyman. This is like a hero version of Proletariat, I'm thinking. Multiple Man. El Major Legado. Oh, it's Spanish Legacy. That's amazing. I like it. Meager winnings.
You should read the flavor text on that.
This one? Yeah, you're both big winners. You're no fun when you're not tormented. Cursor, that's like Pars, right?
It looks like it. I think so.
That's Captain Cosmic Pars, though. Look at it.
Yeah.
I wonder if these are like combo heroes, right? Because that's like if Legacy and Proletariat fused together or something. Mm-hmm. And are there any Spanish heroes?
I don't think so, but I'm not
Dr.
sure.
Medico, I guess, maybe?
Maybe.
That's like Captain Cosmic and Pars together. This is clearly Omnitron and Unity together. Omni-Unity.
Kind of explains a little bit about her.
Well, she fixes him.
Weird. Yeah, but then there's that one character card where she was like turning herself into like an
turn yourself into a cyborg.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Kind of looks like maybe.
Ooh, Virtuosos of the Void. That's what Argent Adept's title is. These are like the previous ones. There's like a line of succession with them. That's pretty cool. OblivAeon Shard. Primordial Boon. It's a big old bird. The apex of humanity. That's, guys.
Yep.
Really? He's the apex of humanity?
Apparently.
Bloodstone. That sounds like fun. Uh-oh. Okay, well, this is my card now. I mean, clearly it is. Oh, that's awesome. It's like Apostate, but a good guy almost.
Almost.
That's wicked cool.
Still looks dark and creepy.
All right, those of you who are watching that I'm going to be playing this with, you can't have this one. This is my card. Lucky Break. Look, it's Legacy, but Setback. That's great. Oh, this is cool. I didn't actually know about any of these. They didn't bother to say any about. They didn't bother to tell us about this before it came out.
There's
the Infinity Cannon.
A lot of different options.
So these are all, like I said, these are all the reward cards you get from finishing these. Arataki Warakawara. Whoa, I can't even pronounce that. That's like Fem Haka.
I tried pronouncing it in my head.
Well, that's Haka's last name, I think.
Is it?
Yeah. I think this is he like Fem Haka, or like it's his wife or something.
Maybe.
Or his mother, who knows, I don't know. The Magic of the Ennead. Ooh, the Ennead altogether. That's the pantheon of Egyptian gods as a villain, which is great. Yeah. Chekhov's hairdryer. Wraith has a super-powered hairdryer, because of course she does.
She has her original invention card where it has the hairdryer.
I love it. That is the best card in the game, by the way, too. Her hairdryer. It's the best card in the game. Not just because it looks cool, but it's the best effect. Citizen Storm.
Pretty intense.
Ooh, it's Tempest if he was a citizen. Like from Citizen Dawn's situation. T-Rex robot. It's a mechanical golem. That's amazing.
It throws 2 to Unity with that.
Oh, it's got to be. Cold War.
That's a previous one.
It's like Bunker, but AZ.
As AZ, yeah.
That's incredible. I love it. A brother's sacrifice. Oh, there's...
and that's the brother.
Yeah, this is Infinitor, Captain Cosmic's brother. Looks like he's giving up his life to save his brother.
Look on the mission side, they're fighting.
Oh, a true hero in the end. Well, it's funny because Infinitor, one of his variants, is he's actually a good guy starting out. Mm-hmm. And there's Devastating Aurora again. So that's really cool. So this is how you get the advantage to beat the overpowered villains, as you win these objectives and get extra powers.
Yep.
I do think it's cool that on this side it's Citizen Dawn. And did you know Expatriate is Citizen Dawn's daughter?
I didn't know that, actually. That's
interesting. I don't know if I mentioned that, but well, Citizen Dawn is Dawn Cohen, and then Expatriate is Amanda Cohen. Mm-hmm. And she actually got cast out of their group for being like too good, I guess. So those are the missions. And then
nice cards.
So lastly, we have these little how to play the OblivAeon scenario for all the players. These are all the same thing, by the way, and there's 5 copies of them. So how you play out the situation here, double-sided it looks like too.
Yeah.
And then we have there's 2 different battle zones in the OblivAeon scenario. So where you are in the battles, like in the battle, depicts like what environment you interact with, and OblivAeon himself is only in one of the 2 at a time. So you have, and you switch between them too. Like your hero can travel from the first battle zone to the second one, and vice versa.
That's going to be an interesting concept.
There's a lot of little aspects to this. I know some of the rules, but not all of them. So that'll be a fun one to learn about.
Well, we finally have it, so...
That's true. I can actually sit and read about it now.
And then
we'll chop open this little pack of variant cards that came with OblivAeon real quick. And you've already seen most of these, I think, but you might as well just take a look at it. So this is the not alternate versions of Fem Luminary, Stuntman. What in the heck? That's kind of cool looking.
It's a fire hose.
It looks like it, yeah. Here's Spirit of the Void Akash 3-0, different artwork. Benchmark Supply and Demand. He looks exactly the same, almost just a different different angle of his face here. There's I don't know what they're calling this version of him, of Captain Cosmic. He doesn't have like a
phrase.
Requital, I think, is the name they're calling him. That's the name of his power, but Cosmic Inventor Writhe from the Void Guard. Darkwatch Harpy, that's creepy looking. I actually haven't seen any of his artwork yet, because they only showed off the other ones. Mm-hmm. This is Dr. Medico Malpractice, it looks like. It says Malpractice, but it's black on black, so you can't even read it. Like, because there's the R and the A right there on his head.
A possible
That's
design
not a great design choice there.
No.
Extremist Skyscraper, all 3 versions of her. I like it. You can't really tell her size in any of these though, really.
No, you'll have to pay attention to that.
Yeah, obviously. And there's Fugue State Pars, another one. Oh, here's the Freedom 5, so Absolute Zero, Bunker, Legacy. These are really cool. Tachyon and Wraith. That's probably my favorite Wraith version, I think, so far.
It's pretty cool.
Curse of the Black Spot, La Commodora. Blood Mage Lifeline. Omnitron U, that's awesome looking, actually. Setting Sun Ra, I'm a big fan. These are all the new variants that came out with OblivAeon that we didn't know, that weren't already in the games. And alongside all the new heroes, too. Mainstay Road Warrior. Super Sentai Idealist, best thing ever. Visionary Unleashed. These are all a little derivative of the existing ones already, but they are slightly different. Oh, and here's all the Extreme Prime Wardens. These are so cool.
This one, I like these ones better.
Oh yeah, they're so cool. Like, look at this. That's just, how can you not say that's awesome? That looks like some Wonder Woman almost right there with wings.
A little bit.
Haka with a leather jacket on because reasons. Thunderstruck, I love it.
I like the colors.
Rebel Yell, I just noticed the name of his power. Play with Madness, Kill the Spirit, Die Hard. So metal. Alright, so I think we're getting toward the end here. I just got a couple more things to show off. One of them being this shiny box right here. These are foil variants of all of the oversized villain cards. So it pops open right here. Alright. Oh, look at, there's a shiny version of the OblivAeon booklet too. The whole book? Is the whole book foil? Oh, it is. This is wicked cool. OblivAeon foil booklet. Alright, so that's cool.
They put a lot of effort into this.
Oh yeah, they put like
the cards.
made up comic panels inside the box here. That's neat.
That is so cool.
So look at the size of this stack of cards here. These are all the villains. And I think it's all of the OblivAeon Scions as well in the back here. And the Scion Reserve itself. Yeah, these are all foil printed. Oh, they're all stick together too, actually. They're really
a new deck.
It's a brand new stack of cards here.
Yeah, I can see half.
Well, here you go. So these are all the normally when you buy the expansion or the boxes of these cards, they have the villain cards themselves are 2 different cards. They have one for the villain representation and one for like their setup instructions. These ones are like the oversized cards that have both. So they have an art on one half and then the setup on the other. And they're still double-sided, just like the other ones.
I'm looking ahead.
So I have all the original villains here. We've got Baron Blade, Omnitron, Grand Warlord Voss, Citizen Dawn, Spite. This is from, what is it, Rook City expansion. Plague Rat. I hate Plague Rat.
I have another one of him over
The Matriarch. Yeah. Oh, there's all the mini villains too?
Yep, all the mini
Perfect.
villains are over here.
Here's the Matriarch. I saw her earlier. And here we have the Chairman and the Operative. These are part of the same deck. This is... Oh, here's Mad Bomber Baron Blade right here. The first villain variant. He is very, very mean. We have Omnitron, the Cosmic Destructor. I actually haven't tried that one yet. Here's Ambuscade, one of my favorites.
Yeah, we probably should have given a
Akash
warning
Buta.
at the beginning and that this is going to take a while.
Well, I figured people would know, but I mean, you know, maybe I'll disclaimer at the beginning here. Gloomweaver here, one of my favorite villains to fight. Apostate, another great one. The Ennead. Sadly, I don't think there's foil variants of all the individual ones, just the main card itself, but that's all right. The Ennead Enforce, I love it. Here's Misinformation. I'm not a fan of her at all.
I have a few copies of them then.
Here's Kismet. Kismet's alright. She's really easy though. The Dreamer, one of the hardest villains in the game.
Oh, I like her little font.
The Dreamer? Oh, with the little blocks.
Yeah, the blocks. And
that's on the other one too.
Is it? I guess I haven't paid attention.
Here's La Capitaine. She's a pain in the butt. Some of the villains are fun to fight. Oh my god, don't even get me started on Iron Legacy. Hardest villain in the entire game. I bet you he's harder than OblivAeon. Not even kidding.
I don't know.
He's absurdly hard. I've only beaten him once. And I was on the tablet on the app, and I had like the perfect team set up. Here's Agent of Gloom's Spite. Like he's Gloomweaver's agent. And then Skinwalker Gloomweaver, speaking of. I haven't tried him yet because he's too scary. We have Kargra Warfang. He's terrifying. Like, his effects and everything.
Yeah, we pulled him out one time and we started
I read his card and everyone's like, no, let's not. Yeah, I've been trying.
We pulled him out, we had him all set up, and then as we were, like, finishing setting up, we're like, no,
let's just do regular Gloomweaver instead. Here's Infinitor, Captain Cosmic's brother. Here's Deadline. Progeny. He's a scion of OblivAeon, but as before he was officially considered that. This one is just a knife nemesis. Wager Master. This is Mixelplix, if you're familiar with DC Comics at all. A friend of mine said he will never fight him because he fears the power of Mixelplix. Wager Master is actually really mean to fight, too. We've got Alternate Kismet, the unsubtle trickster. And here is Infinitor as a hero villain.
Nice.
He starts out as a hero, he's considered a hero, but then he flips and becomes a villain again.
Oh, wow.
Overcome by madness. There's one half of that.
Here's the other.
So this is the last main villain here. We've got Choke Point. I split it right before, like I should have got one more on my side because this is the last normal villain.
Oh, is it?
Yep, this is the people that all the Terminator or Termination heroes are against her because this is what they form together to fight. And then we have all of the team villains. So you can play an alternate variant of this game where you have individual villains, one for each team member for the heroes. They're a little bit dialed down versions of villains, but they're still a pain because they still work as a team.
Realized
What's that?
that one variant of Wraith that you really liked, she's wearing his mask. Her nemesis.
I never noticed that.
Yeah,
so
she's wearing
Freedom 5 Wraith is wearing Spite's mask.
Who is her arch nemesis?
Yeah, I cannot believe I never noticed that before.
Yeah,
he's basically Bane, by the way, too.
Bane and Batman.
He's a drug addict. So here we have Baron Blade as a team villain. Fright Train. He has a cow catcher for a helmet. This is Bunker's nemesis, who actually becomes Bunker at some point. Friction. This is obviously Evil Tachyon. I don't know if you can tell. We have Ermine. This is Catwoman. So a Wraith villain. And Proletariat. He's multiple man, but Russian. So perfect, I guess. Power of the people, right?
Oh boy.
Here's Ambuscade as an individual, or as a team villain, rather. That's pretty wicked looking. Biomancer. I haven't tried him yet, but I'm told he's one of the ones you don't want to fight. Oh, here you go. This is a Scholar villain. But he's a team villain rather than an individual one. This is Bugbear. He's like Sabretooth, I guess, basically. He's pretty beat stick heavy. La Capitaine as a team villain. Citizen Hammer and Dawn. I'm sorry, not Dawn. Citizen Hammer and Anvil. These two are based off of the creator and the artist's World of Warcraft characters. So a paladin and a fire mage. I thought that was pretty funny. And it even looks like them too. Like this is supposed to be Christopher Bedell. He's the creator of the game. And then this is Adam Rebataro, the artist. Basically their own interpretations of them.
Did you want to show your canvas too?
Yeah, we can do that toward the end here. This is Greaser. He's like the Fonz, but an alien. He's a bounty hunter, I guess. Misinformation. Still don't like her. She's mean. Reality rewriter. Somehow she got supernatural powers. I don't understand how that happened. The Operative as a team villain. This is without the chairman, though. Plague Rat. Still hate him. He's the worst. I don't think anybody likes Plague Rat. He's just the worst.
Oh, I love him.
So, yeah, okay, whatever. You don't like rats in general, let alone a plague-ridden one. Sergeant Steele here. He's pretty cool. Oh, Filter is the name of that organization that Knife used to be a part of. Okay. So like the anti-alien people. And then we have the Scion Reserve in foil print, along with all of the individual Scions. That's pretty cool. I'm glad they decided to include this at the last minute, because that would have been awkward otherwise. And then the Inevitable Destruction card is also in foil. So that's that whole box of stuff.
These are really cool.
So that's everything I got with my Kickstarter, except for a couple of things that aren't cards, but are card adjacent, I guess.
Card adjacent.
Well, I mean, they go hand in hand. Well, one of them goes hand in hand with the cards. The other one's just kind of a fun little thing I got. So we're going to show off the reason why I kickstarted this whole situation to begin with, for the most part, because I've been having to lug all these cards around in 3 different little boxes
And now 4 with OblivAeon.
So you have 1 box for all the heroes, 1 box for all the villains, and 1 box for all the environments, all the team villains, all the counters, all that fun stuff that goes with them.
And they're kind of heavy.
It's rather heavy, and this is not going to be any lighter by any chance, but thankfully it now comes in 1 convenient box. So here we have, with Violet's help here, the Sentinels of the Multiverse Ultimate Collector's Case. I don't know if you can tell how big that is. It's freaking massive. Yeah, it's absolutely gigantic, and it weighs. It's empty right now, and it still weighs a solid 10 pounds.
I'd say about 10, yeah.
So
it's got some.
Yeah, but that being said, it's not a typical box that just opens on the top. It's actually better than that. It opens on the front right here, and it has these little drawers that slide out, that go the whole length of the box, and lets you put all the different cards in with their dividers. And actually, these have room to put cards in the sleeves too.
Oh, really?
If you wanted to sleeve all the cards, they would still fit in all these drawers. So this one is for heroes and all the variants.
This one's got...
This middle one here is for all the villains. I don't know if the oversized... Oh yeah, look at they've even got 1 pocket for all the oversized villains and all the tokens. There's a drawer down here for the villains and the environments. And then lastly, another drawer for all the heroes. So these drawers run the entire length of that box. That's a good, like easily 2 feet, maybe even longer than that, 2.5 feet, I want to say almost. Maybe about 2 feet.
It's really nice condition.
Oh yeah, it's very sturdy, very well put together. It looks like it's just cardboard, but it's honestly a bit tougher than that. So this will hold up quite a bit well.
There's also a bonus drawer.
Right, and there's this top drawer as well.
We'll show some of the stuff we got with it.
This actually does come all the way out, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just a little snug. So this is where you put like all the rule books and all that stuff. And actually, they gave us a copy of Completionist Guys with it, because the idea is you have this box.
It's the promo card they called it. But...
It is a promo. It's a variant. And then this is a massive book of all of the heroes and villains, with all of their complexity ratings and their difficulty
so now
ratings.
You don't have to go back and forth between all the books.
Right. So this will tell you at a glance how difficult to play all of the heroes are. Like there's their complexity rating from 1 to 3. Or in Guys' case, it's 2 5/9. And then the other next page here is all the different villains and their difficulty rating from 1 to 4, and then along with who their nemesis is. And that's you can look at a glance, like, how much of a challenge am I up for when I play today? Yep, and here's all the scions on the side here from 1 to 3 difficulty, and then there's all of the team-based villains.
Yeah.
And then this looks like this is new. They didn't they did not have this in the original boxes. So this
makes
is like
it so much easier.
A difficulty rating of all the different environments.
That's so cool.
And there's a lot of those.
We didn't look at this part.
Oh yeah. So here's a promotion for the letters page. This is the creators' podcast. So that's Adam and Christopher. They talk about
Omnitron.
And Omnitron as a boom mic. They talk about a specific hero or villain in a single episode, like an hour and a half. They're really long, but they go into real deep territory. And there's an ad for the RPG, which I have a starter set up for, but I haven't tried yet.
Some really cool tachyon
and friction on the back. And then this comes with some extra tokens as well. So
which we didn't have.
These are all the different damage types that are in the game. So you can kind of specify if a certain type of damage is increased or reduced, or they're immune to it or something to that effect.
That and a lot of the damage gets changed to a certain type of damage.
Especially if you're raw, then everything's going to be fire.
Yeah. And he can change all damage to fire damage.
And here's some nemesis tokens too.
So
look at that.
Those are
so
cool.
you can keep track of if the villain and the nemesis are and your hero are nemesis to each other.
Oh, cool.
And there's 2 sheets of those.
Yeah.
That's really neat. And that all just came in the box. And then there's a whole lot of room for all the extra papers if you have some extra stuff in here. This does slide all the way out. It's just a little snug. And then they also gave us this little manila folder here that I didn't know was coming. And it has some art prints on it of some of the more interesting cards. Like this is the Devastating Aurora. What's that? Akash Flora. That's got to be Akash 3 or something, like a giant tree. They did not tell me these were coming, but there's some really neat looking full-size art prints. Impending Doom, huh?
It's got both of the...
That's all 3 legacies.
The legacies. Wow.
That's 3 generations of legacy.
No, that's the last one.
So yeah, I thought that was really neat. Alright, so that's everything I was going to show. That being said, I'm going to have a blast trying out all this fun new stuff at some point. Probably not today, but at some point in the near future. And I have a lot of friends who are also looking forward to trying out all this fun new stuff. But that said, that's everything. So that's almost over an hour and a half of looking at cards and boxes and art prints.
And this all came with it.
Yep.
So
that's the whole situation. If you managed to stick around this long, I appreciate it. That's awesome. I'm glad you didn't have anything else better to do for an hour and a half. But, excuse me. If you're a fan of this series at all, I encourage you to give this a look and give it a try. Or if you're not, if you've never heard of it before, at least pick up the first box here, the very first base expansion of the game.
which I really enjoy. That's an amazing setup by itself.
There's 4 villains, 4 environments, but 10 heroes in it. So if you want to give it a try, pick that up. It's maybe about, what, $25-$30 I think at your local game store. Or get it online at Greater Than Games website. At any rate, that's the whole situation. Thank you all very much for sticking around this long. Thank you to my lovely assistant, Violet Wings, for sticking around with me and helping me show everybody all this fun stuff.
Never a problem.
Well, you say that now. That being said, we're going to go play some OblivAeon now, and by that I mean not right now, but later. But I'm going to put all this back in the box where I found it and organize this massive collector's case. But until next time, thank you all very much for watching. Thanks for subscribing and liking this video. I'll catch you next time. This has been Seraphin, and...
This is Violet.
Alright, see you guys later. Have a good one.